This bulletin is coming to you live from the Joy 99.7 FM studios here in Kukumlemle at digital address GA0993341. Also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, affiliates across the country, including ATL FM in Cape Coast, Radio Jubilee in Keta. It's on ABN Radio in London and around the world at myjoyonline.com. The news is brought to you by UMB Bank, UMB Speedapp, Digibank, Let's Go, and Telesol 4G. Just a touch. In this edition, government serves notice to security agencies that they will enforce sanctions against persons who disobey imposed restrictions aimed at containing COVID-19.
These sanctions will be applied if you are caught violating these restrictions that have been imposed. It is in our own interest, so we kindly ask the entire population to comply.
We'll bring you details, including the efforts by the Ghana Health Service to get enough personnel protective equipment, that's the PPEs, for frontline workers as it admits global shortage has affected supply.
PPEs remain a major challenge for all of us. More continues coming in. We have received a significant number of coveralls that is being distributed today and some masks.
We are really secure, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta declares about Ghana's preparedness to deal with coronavirus as the country secures all $100 million budgeted for the fight.
65 million came last Monday. Parliament has passed the 35 million bill, and so that would also come.
No gun thermometers in 15 healthcare centers in the Jasikan district. Officials say the situation is hampering screening of residents for coronavirus.
The problem is actually not getting them from the suppliers, and even as we get them, the prices are too much exaggerated.
In sports,
Hartlepool General Manager Frederick Moore disagrees with calls for the Ghana FA to cancel the Ghana Premier League due to the coronavirus pandemic.
And later, what's in your fridge during the lockdown? We'll bring you some interesting responses from our listeners in the Fridge Challenge on the Super Morning Show.
I have some local gin application in the fridge.
because it's too hot. Because it's too hot to put outside. Hey, bro.
That's all coming up here on the Midday News with me, Emefa Apawu. Please stay for details. And government has today vowed that the sanctions fixed in the imposition of the restrictions law to contain COVID-19 will be enforced to the letter. Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah says the security agencies have been directed to physically touch any person found breaching the directives. This comes in the wake of concerns and allegations that some officers have beaten citizens who have disobeyed the directives. Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah and Head of Police Prosecutions for Greater Accra, ACP Donko, have been speaking on the matter at a news conference.
I must say that the penalty unit is 12 Ghana cedis. So if you are found guilty, you are likely to pay a fine ranging from 12,000 cedis to 60,000 Ghana cedis, or to a term of imprisonment of 4 up to 10 years, or both. The message is simple. When you are arrested and found guilty, the law will be enforced. So my advice is stay home, stop the spread, and let's stay safe.
The Ghana Police Service, leading the joint security operation, is under instructions that persons who do not comply with these restrictions don't have to be beaten or subjected to some inhumane treatment. There are sanctions, as we have mentioned, and these sanctions will be applied if you are caught violating these restrictions that have been imposed.
You have Kojo Nkrumah, I beg your pardon. I earlier said they've been directed to physically touch. It's actually not to physically touch any person found breaching the directives. My colleague Joseph Akable was at that news conference. He joins me with more. Joseph, what is Ghana's current case count? We know some 3 cases were in critical condition.
Ghana has recorded 204 cases currently, so there has been no increment of COVID-19 cases with 5 deaths. In terms of the 3 individuals you asked about, the update is that they are being given oxygen through the ventilators that we have in the country, and the Director General of the Ghana Health Service says they are doing quite well. We can listen to him.
There are 3 of them who are getting oxygen, and we are informed that they are getting better. A total of 38 has been discharged for home care, and we are following them on daily basis with home visits, and they are actively getting better. Ridge Hospital has 4 cases. They are all there, they've had a case since between 13 and 19 days. We are waiting till the 21st day. Last year I reached 21 days, and then you are retested, and if you are negative, then you are discharged. At the 37 Military Hospital, one case is on admission, and they are also managing 6 cases at home.
Now, Joseph, we know the issue of PPEs has come up strongly. What's the latest on it?
The Ghana Health Service has been working around the clock to ensure that they get enough PPEs. They make the point that due to the global challenge, they don't have enough coming into the country as readily as they want it. We can listen to the Director General again.
PPEs remain a major challenge for all of us. And I think it's not just Ghana, but it's a global challenge. We continue to provide as many as can be pushed and put in the and more continues coming in. We have received a significant number of coveralls that is being distributed today, and some masks last night, which is being distributed. But these are definitely not going to be enough. And so we urge facility heads to ensure appropriate distribution of the masks. Generally, majority of our people will just need masks, nose masks, and gloves. And that is what is going for more than 98% of all health workers. We want to ensure that it's available. Because we've started the process of having some local production of one, and what I'm wearing is a local production. To promote, we want to encourage all people to wear masks if you can, especially those who have flu-like symptoms, to wear masks.
Well, this issue about PPE is likely not to go away soon because there's more on that. But Joseph, what's the latest with the issues about contact tracing?
Since government started the enhanced testing, it says they've been able to collect 6,000 samples. They have taken them to the various testing facilities, and they expect the results soon.
We are testing all contacts in Accra, in Kumasi, and across the country, and do their contacts and for them. We are testing all people. We are testing all contacts in Accra, in Kumasi, and across the country, and do their contacts and for them. We are testing all people we meet in their homes. We have hotspots where we visit, like Tamale, contact tracing is being done. Our contact tracing is being done. Currently, we are looking at about 110 contacts in Eastern region who are being tested, and then the report will be shared as and when they come in. As of yesterday, over 6,000 samples have been taken for testing. So testing currently ongoing across the country, as at 6 p.m. yesterday. We also are looking at the quarantine patients who were negative and still in the hotels. We so far completed 7 hotels. We've done tests for 538 of them, and then when the results are ready, we are hoping that within the next day, today and probably by end of tomorrow, all the tests would have been done, and the results will be shared with all people in the hotel. And preparation for discharge will be done based on, or management will be done based on the results.
So that's the Director General of the Ghana Health Service at that press conference a while ago. Now, we know the role that the psychologists are also playing. They were well represented at the conference. What have they been saying?
The Ghana Psychological Association says this period we are in, it has the potential of affecting your mental health. And so they've been talking about some activities you can engage in once you're at home. We can listen to Dr. Collins Ajiman. He is the Vice President of the association.
We can play indoor games with them. It's an opportunity for us to tell them and answer stories which we have lost. Education is not just about a teacher standing in front of you. These are all things we want to engage our children. Let's have time with them and work with them. As parents, we want to also make time to exercise. If you don't have a hobby, this is an opportunity for us to look for one and activate it. This 2 weeks partial lockdown is telling us how retirement will be like. We must find things to stay active. Take an online course. Social distancing does not mean emotionally we should be distant. We can connect with people by using electronic means.
So that's Dr. Collins Ajiman representing the Ghana Psychological Association. Now let's talk about sanitation, because as the country prepares to kickstart a 3-day nationwide cleanup exercise, the Sanitation Minister Cecilia Abinadapa is cautioning the public against indiscriminate littering and dumping after the exercise. According to the minister, waste bins will be distributed to households to achieve the president's vision of a clean country. My colleague Kwesi Parker-Wilson has been interacting with her.
What we are doing today is to clean our main streets. I have added the word cleanse our main streets. There's a huge difference between cleaning and cleansing. If we need to use water to wash, let us do it. So that at the end of the day, Ghanaians will see their faces shining when they look at the streets and the neighborhoods. We've also distributed waste bins. You can see the home waste bins gathered at the back. We encourage all homeowners to own a bin. We do not, and I repeat, we do not want to see people gathering their garbage on the ground for other royals, other Ghanaians to come and pick with their hands. It's not good. Always get a bin, put in the garbage, they will be collected, the bins will be emptied, and then you pay a small amount. We call it polluter pays. If you check, the bins are not sold, they are supplied. So we should patronize the one bin, one house policy introduced by Zoom Lion, supported fully by the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources.
And that's the Minister in charge of Sanitation. Now she has a message for those of you essential workers allowed to move around during the season.
We are asking those of us who have permission to move around, not to litter. We have litter bins that we have placed at strategic places. Please do not litter. If you are caught, the full rigors of the law will be applied. Please do not litter.
Minister in charge of Sanitation, Cecilia Abna Dapa. My colleagues have been monitoring the exercise as it's currently ongoing. We'll get you more subsequently. Now, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta says Ghana has secured the full amount of $100 million announced by the President to fight the coronavirus outbreak in Ghana. Speaking at the cleanup exercise by the Sanitation Ministry today, Ms. Ofori-Atta says the outbreak may affect businesses, but there are good plans to deal with the shocks.
We know this is going to bring a lot of hardship, but as the President said, we are competent in managing the economy, but we are not able to bring people back to life. So we have to do everything we can to do that. But I think God is with us in all that we do. In Ezekiel, he says, I'll drive the beasts out of the town, so the coronavirus will get out of this town, and there will be showers of blessings for us. So we are hopeful, extremely hopeful, and it has been amazing what he has done. President declared that we should find $100 million for this. We had our own resources, as the government should, because we had been very successful in raising $3 billion, from the Eurobond. But as a minister, anytime there's an opportunity, I have to find other ways of supplementing this money. And we also then started talking with the World Bank of their program, and we have successfully secured the $100 million. $65 million came last Monday. Parliament has passed the $35 million bill, and so that would also come. So we are really secure in the sense of preparedness to be able to go forward. Clearly, as we look at the economy with this external shock, we're going to lose a lot of oil revenues, etc. And we're also moving very quickly to do that. We are in the middle of a facility for about $1 billion, and then another one for 500, so that we can keep body and soul together, and the industry will continue to move forward.
So now that we have the money as announced by the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, let's go back and talk about the PPEs, because the minority in Parliament is urging government to immediately resolve concerns of medical staff at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, for which reason they are threatening to withdraw their services over a coronavirus scare. My colleague Joseph Opoku-Gapo has been monitoring that press conference. He joins us on the line. What are the details, Joseph?
So Kwabena Mintah Kando, who is the minority spokesperson on health, was making an argument that over the last few days, the president and leading government officials have been seen speaking out there, and he says creating an impression that all is well as far as the necessary resources needed to help frontline staff are concerned. But he says from their checks, that hasn't been the case. They are shocked that some of the health staff don't have even protective equipment, and they say as soon as possible, government needs to deal with those concerns. Otherwise, the situation with dealing with the virus will probably get out of hand.
PPEs remain a major challenge for all of us, and I think it's not just Ghana, but it's a global challenge. We continue to provide as many as can be put in and then more continues coming in. We have received a significant number of coveralls that is being distributed today and some masks last night, which is being distributed. But these are definitely not going to be enough. And so we urge facility heads to ensure appropriate distribution of the masks. Generally, majority of our people will just need masks, nose masks, and gloves. And that is what is going for more than 98% of all health workers. We want to ensure that is available. Yes, we've started the process of having some local production of one, and what I'm wearing is a local production. We want to encourage all people to wear masks if you can, especially those who have flu-like symptoms, to wear masks.
Now, Joseph, we know that Parliament is preparing to rise tomorrow. The COVID-19 Trust Fund the bill has also been passed. What more is happening in Parliament today?
Dealing with a number of loan facilities for the Elmina Harbour project and also a number of others. The House, the indication is that they're still waiting for another document from the Finance Minister on the COVID-19 alleviation program, which they hope to get sometime soon and deal with before they rise tomorrow.
That's my colleague Joseph Opoku Gapo. We still have our ears there. And let's move to the Jubilee House now, because the President will this afternoon meet leadership of various political parties at the Jubilee House. Elton Brobe joins us on the line. What's this meeting all about?
So the meeting itself is starting at 2. Now, government is of the view that the whole country should unite behind a common enemy, and that is the virus. And government has already put in place measures to ensure that it is contained, it is eliminated. Now, what this meeting is seeking to do is to get, according to the presidency, to get the political parties to unite behind government plans, get their members to, follow laid out protocol to ensure that the virus is defeated in the country. So that meeting is starting at 2 p.m. and in attendance will be representatives from all the political parties in the country. And the venue has been moved to the banquet hall of the Jubilee House, which is the biggest space in here at the presidency, to allow for the social distancing. But before we have that meeting at 2, this morning there's been flurry of activities here at the Jubilee House, and mostly has to do with donations. But we've got people come from the Apostolic Church of Ghana. They've made a donation of 70,000 Ghana cedis. The Malcolm Ghana Limited, 100,000 Ghana cedis. Workshop International, 50,000 Ghana cedis. Car Power Ghana Limited also donated 300,000 Ghana cedis. Oswald Limited, 250,000 Ghana cedis. And then the Lebanese community in Ghana have also made a donation of 2.1 million Ghana cedis. Now, after the meeting with the political parties at 2 p.m., President Akufo will again meet the Ghana College of Arts and Sciences to also deliberate on how best Ghana can benefit or can take advantage of this calamity around the world, how we can position our country to benefit more in terms of providing some local essentials to meet national demand. Emefa.
That's Elton Brobe. He's our presidential affairs correspondent. We'll be monitoring that meeting as well and bring you more. But let's head to the Oti region now, because we are learning that the high cost of gun thermometers in the region is hampering effective screening of residents of some communities there. The price of the equipment is said to have jumped from 200 Ghana cedis to 1,200 Ghana cedis. We are learning that only 6 out of the 21 health facilities in the Jasikan district have these gun thermometers. Oti regional correspondent Peter Senu has more.
The Jasikan District Health Director, Isaac Anobil, says the cost of medical supplies, especially the gun thermometer, has gone up significantly from 200 Ghana cedis to 1,200 Ghana cedis. This situation, according to the director, is not helping the fight against the possible spread of the infectious virus into the district.
Most of our facilities don't even have the gun thermometers we are using to take the temperature. So what they do is that they take verbal history of the person to find out. The problem is actually not getting them from the suppliers, and even as we get them, the price is too much exaggerated, and that has really been a challenge. The gun thermometer we used to buy at 200 cedis is now costing 1,200. That is actually posing a challenge. We are hoping to get now gun thermometers for our various community health nurses and the staff at our peripheral facilities to ensure that this exercise is done appropriately.
Meanwhile, the COVID-19 team in the district is collaborating with traditional authorities to fish out lockdown returnees for screening. Asafwache Amankwa Boateng speaks for the Jasikan Traditional Council.
We have informed all the chiefs that those things should be done in the community. At least they should be able to list the names of those who have come, identify them properly so that they will submit to the health director so that they can be monitored and see whether any of them is carrying the virus. Most of the people are voluntarily coming out, that they have traveled from Accra to the community.
Now, Sir Peter Senu's report from the OT region. From gun thermometers, let's talk about a drug that is being used to manage the COVID-19. Doctors managing coronavirus in Ghana, they've been talking about the hydroxychloroquine being used as treatment, and they say it's working wonders and speeding up recovery. The drug, currently undergoing trials, gained international prominence following success against the coronavirus cases in Wuhan, China. Since then, many countries, including the United States, have been considering its use in the management of COVID-19 cases. This week, Health Minister Kweku Agyemang-Manu announced that some of the coronavirus patients are already on hydroxychloroquine treatment and are doing very well. Following this, head of our health desk, Fred Smith, has been speaking to some of the doctors treating coronavirus patients in Ghana about the effectiveness of this drug. He joins me in studio for more. Were you protected?
Yes, very protected.
Okay, so what's your verdict on this drug?
Well, the doctors are extremely excited about the effectiveness of hydroxychloroquine medication on COVID-19 patients. So far, there's not been any scientific assessment of the success rate, but Emefa, they put this at 95% successful. They are currently administering mostly to the symptomatic COVID patients, and they say the results are very encouraging. It is speeding up recovery, and the scientific explanation they give is that the mechanism of action of the drug inhibits the replication of the virus in the system and therefore reducing the viral load of the patient. Hence, once this is done, the patient's immune system overpowers any residue to completely eliminate the virus from the system. So far, the recovery rate of patients who came in very ill or symptomatic conditions or who came in critical condition are recovering, according to some of those doctors I spoke to.
Okay, but like any other drug, are there any risks?
Yes, there are. This drug is not being administered on just anyone. It can indeed be very deadly if someone takes it without a doctor's prescription, as it can worsen the condition of persons with, say, diabetes or kidney issues or heart problems. And so you always need a doctor to assess, and they give a strong warning to persons who may want to go and get them and self-medicate. It can be very deadly.
You can't do that. And that's it. Thank you very much, Fred Smith. We'll take a quick break here on the Midday News. Our top stories: government serves notice security agencies will enforce sanctions against persons who disobey imposed restrictions aimed at containing the COVID-19. When we return also, we'll talk about the fridge challenge. What's in your fridge during this lockdown?
I have some local gin application in the fridge.
because it's too hot. Because it's too hot to put outside. Hey, bro.
With the all-new Supersport Relove, we reorganized all 12 channels to bring you your favorite moments from football, athletics, WWE, and more. Supersport 1 is now available on DSTV Compact, and Supersport 3, the Premier League channel, is on DSTV Family, while 7 is on Access. Get DSTV and relive the greatest stories in sport, from Ali to Zidane and more, with the new Supersport Relove.
UMB was established in 1972 as the premier bank for the corporate and private sector in Ghana. From our very beginning, as the only Ghanaian bank serving all categories of businesses, we set a standard for excellence and innovation. Over the past 45 years, we've built a financially healthy and strong bank, demonstrated our commitment to our customers and to growing businesses, and exhibited originality and innovation at every turn. At UMB, our focus is built around people, service, products, and technology. These are the key to our present success and our future triumphs. At UMB, we're poised to make a difference not only with our customers, but also in the banking industry. We invite you to share in our future. Our future starts now with you.
Thanks for choosing the best. Let's do sports now with Benedict Owusu.
Yes, Emefa. Now, Heart of Oak Managing Director Frederick Moore says it is too early to call for the cancellation of the Ghana Premier League. Now, the GPL, just as other competitions are on hold due to the coronavirus pandemic, some have suggested we forgo the rest of the season since there is no end in sight. But Mr. Moore disagrees.
There is a gap. There's a stoppage in the league, But I think at this moment in time where we are, the health of the nation, the health of our players, the health of our staff should take paramount. When we get closer to the end, yes, we can discuss about the options, but I don't think that we should take any definite decision as to this is our line, this is our position. Until it is clear, there's a definite, we are getting to the tail end of the crisis. The reason why I say this is this. Look, if we say that we are cancelling the league, or if we say that we are leaving the league, we're going to continue. If we have the crisis that Italy has had, we'll not be able to continue the league.
So that's Frederick Moore, he's managing director of Accra Heart of Oak. The Ghana Premier League was suspended indefinitely after March day 15. Now, the restart date of the English Premier League will be pushed back today. All 20 Premier League clubs will meet via video. And it's accepted by all that there is no hope of professional games being played immediately after the current April 30 deadline. Now, the Premier League could shift the date back into May or up to follow Spain and France, who have shut down their leagues for an indefinite period.
Thank you very much, Benedict. Let's head to the Ashanti region now, because police, they have asked victims of brutalities during the lockdown to report such incidents for investigations. There have been various reports of hardness by members of the security agencies during the lockdown. In the following report, a man alleges he was beaten by soldiers after he was caught chatting with friends near a market where he had gone to grab some food. Nanaya Ojima has more.
A trembling Smiler arrived at the station on a motorbike, bare-chested, with marks of assault, and he says the pain was so unbearable that he couldn't put his singlet and his shirt on. With the shirt in his hand and the underwear around his neck, he holds out a poly bag containing what he claims to have purchased at the market to prepare his supper. In a sad tone, Smiler struggles to narrate what happened.
I had packed a few goods I had bought in the trunk of my bike. When they saw me, they came to me and asked my reason for coming out. I responded, I came here for foodstuffs. One started beating me with rope and impressed on me to leave. My battery is faulty, so it takes time to respond when it starts. Since I couldn't start it immediately, they all came at me and started beating me. Some used the butts of their guns to hit me.
When Smiler was reminded of police call for such incidents to be reported for investigations, he ignored because, according to him, many of such occurrences go unpunished.
We hear the military are beating people unprovoked. I didn't believe it until now. I'm now a victim, and I want the world to see. I don't want to go to the police because they will not take any action.
So some residents at Eja here gather.
They kept shouting at him to move his motorbike, but he would not do that immediately. Even one market woman pleaded with him to do so, but he kept looking at them in the face. Another one came over to hit him with a cane. Then another joined, bringing the number to 3. They beat him several times before he jumped onto the motorbike to leave.
So we were eyeing them.
Checks at the Ija market reveal Smiler failed to immediately heed to the order to move his motorbike.
That's Nanaya Jima's report. Now, the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, Senyor Hosi, has donated boomsticks, their microphone stands, to the Multimedia Group to aid in the execution of our work in this COVID-19 times. Presenting the item, Senyor Hosi commended the Multimedia Group's contribution in disseminating information to the general public on the virus.
On behalf of the Ghana Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, we want to present these boom mic poles to you, the Multimedia Group. One, we absolutely recognize the value of the work you are delivering, and these times are key times for us as a country. While we stay at home, you have to take the risk of contracting this virus just to be able to serve us, share information with us, to keep us up to date with things. In fact, as I said, you guys are the ones keeping the country safe, sane as at now.
That's the Chief Executive of the Bulk Oil Distributors Ghana, and that's Senyo Hosi. We are grateful. Thank you so much. Now, what's in your fridge? Is it enough to feed you and your family till next week? This is the question Super Morning Show host Daniel Dazi and his team have been asking their listeners.
I've been keeping tomatoes over 2 weeks in the fridge in my Tupperware bowls, and it looks fresh.
I have contomate stew, I have ripe plantain, I have yam and Gino rice and pure water and bottle in my fridge.
But why is the rice in the fridge, Enoch?
The rice is not cooked yet.
It's not cooked yet, but it's in the fridge.
My fridge, I have some local gin application in the fridge.
because it's too hot. Because it's too hot to put outside. Hey, bro.
Okay, me, I have some palm nuts, chicken stew. I have fancy, and you use stew inside.
What do I have in my fridge? I'm sure I have some fresh yogurt and water. And that's it for the midday news here on Joy 99.7 FM. There's more news, of course, when you log on to myjoyonline.com. For those of you watching us on Facebook, thanks for your company as well. Thank you so much for listening. Dr. Mensa Otabil has living word.